aging milestone over the weekend, not a birthday.
Did you have to turn down the radio so you could see in the car?
It was exactly in that wheelhouse.
Okay, let's hear it.
Went to CVS last night and bought my very first pair
Of readers. How does it feel?
Readers. I mean, honestly, putting them on and looking down at my phone last night, I was like,
this is it. This is where it's at.
This is where it's at.
Is the stuff.
How am I so late to the game? My eye doctor a couple of years ago said, that readers are coming for us all.
Yeah.
They're coming for us all. And she was absolutely correct. I decided, I was out to dinner with a friend who is he just made the, I don't know, commitment to readers 6 months ago. My age, we're both 47 years old.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm going to the drugstore, I'm pulling the trigger, and that is just what I did last night. So
I was going to sneeze on you for a second.
I'm officially reading glasses years old.
I call Anthony old all the time, but I'm just pulling.
Well, compared to you, I am old.
Yeah, I did something about being old this weekend too.
What?
I did some microneedling at my house.
Microneedling?
Microneedling.
Is that what you do when you age?
Yes.
What is microneedling? Is that a eyebrow thing?
No. That's,
What am I
but
thinking?
I think there is this thing with your, is that what it's
Micro-
called? There's something with your eyebrows and
something,
needling. Anyways,
yeah.
So it's to save some money. I've got, the ads got me on social media, and I made a post actually on my social media, a video of me doing this, and I said I was called ma'am one too many times.
Oh.
I get called ma'am here a lot.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm a ma'am now.
Yes.
So anyways, yes, precisely. So it's this kit that you can buy, and you get these little microneedling vials with a serum, either like for wrinkles or for...
This is where you puncture your skin.
Yes.
You did that?
Yeah.
I can't, I mean,
No damage.
you look
Okay.
recovered.
I look the same.
Yeah.
It probably is doing nothing. No, it's just, but they're really small. So like when you get your face microneedled at like a professional establishment, they're like bigger needles. So it's more probably effective than what I was doing. They're like little tiny baby needles. But anyways, I did that over the weekend too because I thought.
Was it painful?
No. No, the first time I did it, this was my second time. First time I did it, I was very like gentle with it. This time I was like, boof, boof, boof. I've just got this like really bad wrinkle line right here from, doing this.
Frown lines.
Just like one line, and it's awful.
So did you microneedle that?
Of course I did.
Part?
And that part's juicy because it's like all, it's like a little bit of a fat pad there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I did that over the weekend.
Okay, I was the lone male at a gathering of moms on Saturday night. My lovely neighbor took pity on me. I was home alone with Jero all weekend because my wife was gone with my oldest.
Yeah.
She, at the last minute, decided to give him his birthday gift out of town. So she took pity on me.
Yep.
I walked over with a little cocktail in my hand to just hang out with them for a little bit.
Darling.
5 moms, suburban moms, all wearing masks.
Did you put one on too?
No, they were trying to get me to put one on. I didn't do it, but it was cute. They all had, I don't know what they are. It looked like clear, but they were all doing like
That is...
because all their husbands were on a trip out of town too.
Oh my
so
gosh, Anthony.
It was hilarious. It was a big skincare weekend, I guess.
I love
in Momville.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like in my neighborhood, and we were talking about this too, like the moms and the dads were just such suburban parents, Anthony and I would be more likely to just hanging out with the dads, like with my beer.
Yeah.
I was telling Anthony,
Yeah.
none of the ladies partake. I'm like, let's have a beer together and hang out. And they're like, no, thank you.
I like the Caitlin Cody beer enthusiasm. I'm a huge beer fan as
Beer's
well.
great.
We have a bunch to get to here during this hour. First up, we got to talk about, speaking of boozing, I don't know if that falls under one of the 7 deadly sins.
Probably.
Indulgent. What is it?
As long as you don't indulge, yeah. No, this is, yeah. Okay, so we got
laziness. Maybe that goes under laziness because there's 7 of them I'm reading. Anyway.
Anger and hatred, jealousy, excess, and vices, greed.
Vices. It goes under
greed,
vices.
Lust, vanity, and laziness are the 7 deadly.
Yeah, so the reason we bring this up is because a new ranking has come out, ranking the most sinful states in order. Okay, this is from Wallethub. And
spend our money sinfully.
There we go. Here we go. You can see Illinois. Are your eyes trained to just go straight to Illinois at this point?
Yeah.
Mine do.
Yeah.
Mine really do. I just on all U.S. Okay, so we're number 8, and
That is
highlighted
fun. Why?
the podium. think about it. Come on.
Gambling.
Yes, it's Vegas.
Yeah.
And
Number 2, Cali. I'm not surprised.
the podium. And taking the bronze, Louisiana.
Yeah.
New Orleans. A lot of hijinks happen in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
As we've been seeing with this Shia LaBeouf. Have you seen any of the Shia LaBeouf footage?
Yeah.
Coming
poor
from,
guy.
yeah, he's struggling with something. Anyway, Mardi Gras is in full swing.
Florida.
Has been in Florida number 4.
Well, they've got like Miami and stuff.
Look at Utah, way down there at number 44.
Yeah.
LDS there. Maybe just keep
Texas
everyone
is
in
number
line.
5. Okay, where's number 6? Oh, Tennessee. Oh, Tennessee. Why? That's such a.
So we're pretty high, actually. We're like top.
Yeah,
we're top 10 out of 50.
We're not as bad as I thought.
Okay,
we would
so let's break this down a little bit.
Okay.
We went through the 7 key dimensions, which resemble, I guess, these are the 7 deadly sins.
Should we loop in our guest?
Yeah, we probably should. Do we? Yes.
We're just going off.
We're going Chip Lupo.
We're just diving in.
Sorry, we got ahead of ourselves here. Talk about the methodology. He's a writer and analyst with Wallethub. Chip, talk about the methodology here and how Illinois ended up number 8.
Well, I was giving you guys an A+ on your efforts. You guys were doing quite well without me there for a second. But well, you'll be happy to know that I do have finally succumbed. I was by coercion have readers also.
Yes.
So it's a game changer. I can actually cook stuff and I can actually take my meds.
Embrace it, you guys. Embrace those
any
readers.
mistakes.
Yes.
Well, I'm part of the club now, Chip. All right, let's unpack this study here. Take us through the methodology and how we came out at number 8.
Well, what we did is we compared all 50 states across 7 key dimensions, which you can more or less deduce would be the 7 deadly sins: anger and hatred, jealousy, excesses and vices, greed, lust, vanity, and laziness. And from that, we applied 54 relevant metrics, and those range from things such as violent crimes per capita, excessive drinking, share of population with gambling disorders, those sorts of things. So crunch the numbers, rank them 1 to 50, and Illinois comes in at number 8 out of 50. So that's a pretty high number. But you were asking about Tennessee earlier, and which was interesting because Tennessee falls into that so-called Bible Belt. But they do have some crime problems. They have some major metro areas that have been blowing up in the last few years, and particularly in Memphis. Nashville is becoming high crime because when you have some of these once rural states that are exploding in population, a lot of times the folks that move there take their bad habits with them.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I was kind of saying. Like with Florida, for example, the bigger cities like Miami may be leaning into some of this stuff, like the vanity and so forth.
Oh, well, South Beach sort of pretty much embodies sinfulness anyway, so that's...
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about our rankings. So I'm looking at these numbers here. Do you want to run us through where we ranked per sin? So like I'm seeing anger and hatred, we're ranked 12.
Ooh.
Right, yeah. Now, Illinois was kind of in the middle of the pack, or kind of average or below average in a lot of areas. 12th in anger and hatred, 10th in jealousy, 22nd in excesses and vices, 15th in greed, 13th in lust, 12th in vanity, and 24th in laziness.
Hey, that's good. If we're going to be low in any category, we want to be ranked low in laziness. I have to ask, can you give us, I don't know if you have it in front of you, but I'm curious which states came out on top in some of these categories.
It's interesting because, let's just run down the top 5 real quick. Nevada, California, Louisiana, Florida, Texas.
Yeah.
Now, Louisiana, Mardi Gras is in full swing, but remember, in a lot of these states now, gambling has become a thing. Because the more and more gambling is legalized, you can expect, and that's a problem in Illinois. That's where one area in which Illinois does stand out. There's a high number of people with gambling, what they call gambling disorder / addictions. So, and gambling arrests per capita. So that's something to keep an eye on in more and more states when they start to legalize gambling. But that's a large part of it. And of course, Nevada is Nevada. It's in a class by itself. But California, there's a high vanity factor there.
Yes.
Louisiana, it's big on excesses, particularly this time of year. But the thing about states like Louisiana and Mississippi that come in at 7th, and even parts of Texas and Florida, when you have rural kind of low income areas, unemployment's high, poverty rates are high, that sort of almost creates sort of a high crime rate in itself. So that's something to keep an eye on also.
So I'm looking at our ranks here. It looks like we're the worst. Like our weakest point is jealousy. And it says it's based on thefts per capita, identity theft complaints per capita, and fraud. So that's where we're, compared to the rest of the nation, we're the lowest.
Now, Illinois has the 9th highest number of identity theft complaints per capita, and is 10th in fraud and other complaints per capita, and about middle of the road in thefts per capita, about 20th overall. So there's a high risk of a whole lot of identity theft and other types of fraud going on there in Illinois.
Interesting. I want to dive down into the lust ranking. Lust. Okay. We came in at 13th here, but this is based on teen birth rate, Google search interest rate for triple, like X-rated entertainment, okay, and then people arrested for prostitutions. Okay, so what state, we came in at 13 for lust. What states top the lust ranking?
Well, as far as now, Illinois is 6th in the Google search index for adult entertainment, and it's right up there with Florida, Nevada, and California. Illinois also has a pretty high number of persons arrested for prostitution and commercialized vice per capita, right up there with Nevada and California. And teen birth rate, Illinois seems to be below average in that respect at number 34.
Can you see like where these numbers are coming from? Like you mentioned big cities. Are these numbers really hyper focused on the city of these states that are ranking high?
Well, to put it in perspective, we did a separate study on sinful cities, and Chicago was 12th out of, I think, the 100 cities that we surveyed. So if you use that as a frame of reference. But again, in a lot of places, it's the socioeconomic environment. Like Mississippi is 7th. It's a rural, deep south, sparsely populated state. And as we referenced to earlier, when you have these types of situations, there's usually going to be high crime rates, and in a lot of cases, things such as opioid or alcohol addictions, gambling addiction, people just doing what they can just to get by.
Sure. Chip, can you tell us about the methodology for this? Is this like based on provided statistics, or did you actually reach out to folks and have them self-report for these numbers?
No, this was all data driven, and it's primarily from government sources such as Census Bureau, Labor Statistics, FBI, CDC. But we did reference some reputable third-party think tanks and other types of nonprofits, such as the National Council on Problem Gambling, Parents for Megan's Law, Crime Victim Centers. But yes, it's strictly data-driven. There's no anecdotal evidence or testimony that we included in these studies.
Is there a connection? We talked about the connection between big cities and having these crimes, or low-income states having these crimes, these sins high. What about the other side? The people who are happiest, the people who aren't committing crimes. So I'm looking out to our mountainous states out west, even Iowa, Minnesota, not bad. So what's the deal with those states, I guess, in the central U.S.?
Well, it's interesting because you're looking at a part of the country, and you mentioned the LDS area in Utah, why its numbers are pretty low. Now, there's also a huge LDS population in Idaho, too. So there's a lot of times, church and faith and traditions come into play there. And as far as the Midwest goes, there's still parts. Now, there are not a lot of major urban centers in a lot of these cities, and a lot of them still adhere to those traditional Midwestern values that you're always hearing about.
That's so interesting.
Midwest, nice.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then just that swath, like in that map, the darker the color, the more sinful the state. Okay, so I want to talk about the laziness ranking too. Okay, we came in at 24 here. You base this on people, how much people are exercising, their weights, TV time, screen time, and then graduation rate. So this is some real data. We landed right in the middle of the pack in Illinois. Give us some of the podium winners for laziest states.
Yeah, Illinois is right in the middle of the pack, and the numbers do bear that out. Its highest ranking is 15th, and share of adults not exercising at almost 23%. Everything else is right above average. Volunteer rate, about average. Average daily time spent watching TV, 27th. 30th, yeah, it's a pretty low high school graduation rate there, too. So those kind of factors, that's kind of what keeps Illinois there, right there in the middle. Also, another thing that's a stat worth mentioning is the share of disconnected youth. And Illinois is like right in the middle here. And I'm sure folks in Illinois will blame Chicago for this number, because what we mean by disconnected youth, this is the share of population age 18 to 24 who are not attending school, not working, no degree beyond a high school diploma.
Yeah,
okay.
Living in the parents' basement.
Yeah. Can we dip our toes into Alaska while we're looking at the map? Because who is committing crimes in Alaska with the polar bears? Or are they polar bears? The grizzly bears.
It's interesting because if you ever binge watch enough true crime documentaries as I do, whether it's Forensic Files, 40 Hours, or whatever, you'll find that Alaska does have a pretty high crime rate per capita because the offenders are so hard to apprehend.
Oh.
We're talking about these huge, and a lot of them are pretty skilled survivalists who can manage to hide out there in the wilderness. So crimes occur, and a lot of them go unsolved, or they take years to solve because these offenders are usually very, very hard to track down. Whether it's law enforcement unable to get into the terrain, into the parts of the state where these might be hiding or they might be operating. So
that's juicy.
Yeah,
really interesting stuff. Hey, if folks want to kind of play around, dig into the findings and kind of navigate and break it down by category and all that, where can they, is there a tool online that they can do that with?
Just log on to Wallethub.com, and in the search bar just type out sinful states. And we do also have the separate sinful city study. So if you want to see how some of the larger cities in your reference that also. And Chicago, as we mentioned earlier, is number 12 in that particular study.
12.
All right. I think we're doing okay.
We're doing okay.
We're doing all right.
We get like a B-.
We're not
C+.
lazy.
We're not the worst. We're
excesses
not the
and
best.
Vices. We're not doing so bad with that number. We could do better though.
Chip, where are you joining us from right now?
I am in Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay, South Carolina. I didn't see on the map
North
where
Carolina's
you guys
doing pretty good.
where you guys
We're
did.
12. We're at number 12.
Oh, so you're not.
Okay. So yeah, you're not far behind us. Sorry.
No, we have some problems when it comes to crime here in parts of Columbia, and then parts of South Carolina extremely rural. So we've got folks that are doing what they need to do to survive, whether it's gambling or alcohol abuse. So yeah, we have our share of problems here to
Indeed. Well, here's showing a mirror in the face of America. Wallethub.com. Thank you very much, Chip. That's fascinating findings. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure. You can have a good week
later.
Okay, yeah. Stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble. Thank you, Chip.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts? I guess I'm not surprised, especially California coming in on the vanity ranking. I'm not surprised at the top three. Vegas with Las Vegas. That's what happens in Vegas. California, and then Louisiana. I think the Mardi Gras effect, like that, the party atmosphere in New Orleans, obviously, and then Florida. When I see Florida coming at number 4, I just keep thinking of Florida man. You know how? Have you ever done that? Florida, like you punch into Google Florida man, and then the things that suggest that
it happens in Florida.
Well, everything happens in Florida. Exactly.
I think about like people going on vacation or old folks getting scammed because they all live, you know. But the vanity thing, just so you know, it's like they're talking about barbers and hairstylists, cosmetologists, nail salons. Like, I don't really know if that
plays in.
I mean, you're not, as long as you're not obsessed with yourself, right? If you get your hair cut, that's not really a sin.
No. I think That was why I was curious, the methodology,
Yeah.
because these weren't like surveys that went out.
Sure.
They're actually going through all
Yeah.
kinds of data and coming up with clever ways to cluster the findings under different sins. But good stuff. All right, so we're going to get creative when we come back. I'm really excited to talk to this author. His name is Peter Reynolds. He has just released a new book for kids, and it's called When You Dream Big. And he's going to join us and cover why it's important to instill certain values for the young people: individuality, resilience, and human connection. So we're going to be speaking with author Peter Reynolds when we come back after this short break. Stay with us.
These are time for action.
Welcome back. It is just about 10:23, and we're talking about a new book, When You Dream Big book. This is darling. Author Peter Reynolds is joining us this morning to talk about this new released book that he made for kids called When You Dream Big. So it covers important topics like individuality, resilience, and human connection. Joining us over Zoom this morning to tell us more. So good morning to you, Peter.
Good morning from Boston.
All right.
I was just in Chicago last week, I think,
Oh, okay, good.
visiting school.
Fun. Well, that makes sense.
And Anderson's bookshop.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
I want to know, what gave you the idea to write this book on these topics?
Well, I hang out in schools quite a bit. I travel the country and around the world, and I love talking to kids about their North Star dreams. I like to refer to them as. I wrote a book called The North Star almost 30 years ago, and I'm kind of circling back to this topic because, that's a really big question. And, this story is about a teacher who challenges her kids to dream big, and the kids are excited and they're working hard. And the main character, Charlie, she's actually, there's a picture of her toward the end of the book when she sort of figures it out, but she struggles with that question. And it's a big question, right? What are you going to be when you grow up? And so I wanted to create a book that celebrated and encouraged people to dream big, but also to remind them that, it's okay not to know, right? It takes time to figure out who you are and where your dreams are going to lead you. And I wrote this book not only for kids, but also for grown-up kids, because, we all have our dreams, no matter what age we are.
I totally agree. I was always the undecided procrastinator. I didn't even declare a major in college till I absolutely had to. I think you had to declare a major by the end of sophomore year, and I waited till like the deadline because I could never decide. So I really love that about not putting pressure on yourself to know right away. So how do you tackle this? I mean, that's a it's kind of a nuanced idea. How did you tackle this in a storytelling way so that young people can understand it?
Yeah, well, I created a classroom with teacher Miss Raina, and she really represents great teachers all over the place. And big shout out to all teachers. They are doing really heroic work, not only teaching our kids the curriculum, but also encouraging kids to be the best versions of themselves. So I wanted to model that classroom, and so I created this classroom with a bunch of kids, and our main character, Charlie, who is the one that is, she is struggling. And, there are kids who, they do struggle on the journey. And I wanted to remind all of us that, it's okay to struggle. But you actually have to voice, right, your struggle. You have to tell someone. And fortunately, we have people who love us, right? Our parents, our friends, and of course, teachers and counselors. You have to let them know what you are thinking and struggling with, because if we solve that struggle, that will get you actually to move along and get a little bit closer to your dream.
I love that. I have a kindergartner, and I have to say already in kindergarten, there are so many issues that are coming up, bubbling up, surfacing that I have yet to deal with fully. But even just the human connection part, the communication part, is that kind of that section is just being able to tell these young kids that they can talk to loved ones?
Absolutely. That it's okay. It's okay to struggle, and but you have to tell someone, right? Don't bottle it up, because when you bottle it up, it almost never works out well. So teaching our kids to have those conversations, having those conversations with our kids, that's what the power of picture books is, that when you read a book to a child, you also can dive in and say, what was that book about? What does that make you feel? What are your dreams? And as I say, this also is helpful for grown-ups too, who are, they might be feeling stuck as well.
Totally. And it's amazing how the illustrations, and these are beautiful, they stick with you over the years. I remember vividly some of the illustrations from the books that I would read as a kid. Peter, did you do these illustrations yourself, or did you do the text and then hire work alongside an artist to create those?
Well, I was blessed, because when I was born able to draw and write. Well, actually, it took me a little while to figure out how to do both. But I illustrate my own books, and I also collaborate with other people. But this particular book I wrote and illustrated, and even the font, like this font on the cover, that is my handwriting, and all of the text that you see inside the book is my handwriting. No AI involved in my books. It's all handcrafted. And I actually do think that that's important to point out, that especially in this age of AI, where we're getting AI to do all sorts of things, problem solve and write for us, and draw for us. Hopefully they won't dream for us, because that's, we humans have to hang on to being human, which dreaming and imagining, using your imagination to imagine a great future. That's a human superpower. So I can imagine a great future. And I hope you do too.
Yeah,
it's beautiful, Peter.
I can't believe you did it. The whole thing. The whole thing. Yeah.
What ages do you think that this is appropriate for?
Well, I always like to say all ages, but I would say the sweet spot is elementary, first through fifth grade. But a lot of my books have become graduation gifts for high school and college. I have a book called Be You, another one from Scholastic. I think this is my 11th book with Scholastic. They do such a great job of getting books to kids in schools. And I grew up getting the Scholastic catalog when I was a kid. And it's kind of a thrill for me to now be in that catalog.
That's so great. I'll look for this at the book fair. Congratulations on number 11, and we look forward to seeing it.
Thank you so much. Thanks. And keep dreaming big.
Thank you. Great message. Absolutely great message. And don't you love those illustrations?
They're beautiful.
Reminds me of, I used to read all those Roald Dahl books.
Yeah.
Growing up, James and the Giant Peach, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Danny the Champion of the World, and his illustrations remind me of the some of those old school ones.
It reminds me of this book called Little Miss Big Sis. I wonder, I'll have to look it up and see if it helps.
Do I have that one?
Little Miss Big Sis. Also, his point about, I love that. So what I meant by like my daughter's in kindergarten, all these issues are bubbling up.
Yeah.
You know, between her and other kids, and I think it's too, she's the, you know, kindergartners, they're the youngest ones in elementary school.
Yeah.
So she's seeing all these interactions too with other kids. I just, the emphasis on communication, I think that is so important.
Yeah.
And I love that his book drives that message home, because as a parent, I know for me, all I want is for my kid to be able to share her day with me, with my husband. Like, not be scared to share the nuances of what go on. And like even seeing that picture of the little kid, I just feel like it's so relatable. So good for him for getting that message out.
Absolutely love it. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, the job market. There is a new book out called The Secret Language of Work. Landing a new job, struggling with your new role. A lot of times it's not that you're not talented, it can be, on the communication note, figuring out how your new workplace communicates with one another. So we're going to check in on navigating that when you're in a new gig, I should say, with career expert and author Aaron McGoff when we come back after this.
Fox 32 Chicago.
It is just about 10:34, and the job market these days, it's really hard for people to find a job, and maybe you did find a job and now you're struggling to fit in because starting a new job almost feels like you're going to a new school. You have to make the friends and know the vibes. So joining us this morning is career expert and author Aaron McGoff. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you doing?
Doing pretty well, thanks.
Good. Okay, so let's talk about this book right off the bat. What inspired you to write this book?
Yeah, I give career advice to around 7 million people on the internet, and I just was getting so tired of seeing such wonderful, hardworking people get passed up for opportunities because they simply didn't know how to use the right words, or they didn't know the hidden curriculum or the etiquette of the workplace. So I wanted to write it all down in one book so that they could read it and use their words to change their life.
Yes, indeed. Every workplace, based on my experience, has its own nuances, right? We have our own vocabulary in broadcasting that the outside world probably wouldn't have no idea what we're talking about. I'm guessing that's the case for basically every career. So lay the landscape for us and how you kind of tackle this, and what advice you have for people that are just starting in a new environment.
Yeah, when I was just starting out, I think something that really frustrated me about the career advice that I was reading in books or, reading in blogs was that it was just so vague. They would say, speak to your strengths. And I'd be like, but how? What words do I use? And so what people really like about my advice and what I base my book around is hyper specific, no fluff advice. I give you the specific words to actually say when you are negotiating your salary or interviewing for a job or networking. And I give you templates that you can apply to any situation. So that's something that people really like about the content, and something I'm really looking forward to people reading.
Aaron, let's hit the hot topics that people are asking you advice about. Can you give us a couple specifics? I know you get very specific with your advice, but what are very specific issues that many people are having?
Oh gosh, the number one issue right now is landing a new job. We are in a very stagnant, very stale job market, and employees and job seekers don't have as much power as they did a few years ago. So it's really about networking right now because we are in a stale economy, and also the online hiring process is broken. So there's a lot working against job seekers right now. So I'm here to help them, but my number one tip is to talk to people, because computers don't hire, people hire. So the better you can get at networking, the faster you're going to find a higher quality job.
And when you say talk to people, are we talking about in-person, face-to-face, getting out there, meeting people, going to networking events where you're actually looking at someone in the eye?
Yeah, in the book, I actually talk about the 4 different types of networking. I kind of organized it into these 4 different categories because everybody thinks, oh, networking is just being in some stuffy conference room with a styrofoam cup of coffee. And there are really so many other ways to network. You can network at weddings. You can network on the couch. I call it couch networking on LinkedIn. There are so many ways that you can go about it. If you're introverted or shy, there are tons of ways that you can network. So yeah, it's not always face-to-face. However, I always say the best networking is at weddings or birthday parties, and just environments where you're just making friends in a casual setting, but they might also happen to be working in your industry.
Okay, let's talk about people who start a new job and they feel kind of like the odd man out. What advice do you give them to fit in and, adjust to the new place?
Yeah, it's a great question. I recommend using a 30, 60, 90 day plan, which I have outlined in the book. So kind of just making a plan, giving yourself some grace. Joining a company is joining an ecosystem, it's joining a culture. You're not going to get it on the first day, but I highly recommend having one-on-one chats with people, making as many friends, as many allies as possible. Find your Sherpa, that person that you can go to and ask those embarrassing questions to. Study the organizational chart, try to understand who makes decisions, what the culture is, and be as much of a sponge as you possibly can be.
What mistakes do new employees commonly make right out of the gate when they start somewhere new?
Oh yeah, I got one. They come in too hot. They come in the first day, they got all this energy, they're over-promising, and they're talking about how they say yes to everything. And it's actually the worst thing that you can do, because then, when a few months goes by and you kind of default back to your normal personality and you start to set boundaries, it can be a lot harder to do that, to scale back than to scale up. So I recommend that if you start a new job, go in and set expectations. Be very, very, very good at what you do, and also be careful and show people what exactly they can expect from you, and be very, very clear about that.
Okay, so you mentioned networking on LinkedIn. I want to go back to that because maybe somebody's watching and saying, wait, you said I could network from my couch. Can we dive into that and how people navigate those waters?
Absolutely. I love couch networking. And people oftentimes think, well, I don't have a network. And I always say, unless you've been living in a basement your whole life, like you have a network, you have people that you know, because your network isn't just people that you know, it's people that you know. And the wonderful thing about LinkedIn is that it's a visual representation of that network. And LinkedIn is becoming increasingly more important. In fact, Indeed came out with a study last week saying that employers were 82% more likely to contact job seekers with a fully filled out professional profile, aka a LinkedIn profile. So it's becoming very, very important. Employers are going there to verify that you are who you say you are on your resume. And yeah, I mean, there's so much on LinkedIn that's untapped. You can basically message anybody you want. It's an incredibly powerful tool.
Let's switch gears and talk about folks who may be listening to this interview who are managing other people. They're not just employees working for a boss, but they may have a team of 3 to 5 or even bigger teams. What mistakes or what advice, is there anything in there for people in managerial roles? And maybe you could comment on some of the mistakes communication-wise that our bosses and managers are making.
Absolutely. I don't think anybody has it harder right now than middle managers. I mean, getting the marching orders from the top and then having people below you that you have to manage. And then there's really not a lot of training that we do in a lot of companies but managing is a skill. And I talk a lot about managing in my book because it's very important. And many people will eventually be in a manager role. A lot of people don't realize that early in their careers, but they will eventually. So my advice for managers is to invest in your skills. Invest in your communication skills. It's fine that you weren't born knowing how to give sticky feedback. That's not something that people are usually born with. It's something that you have to learn how to do. So find your mentors, invest in your skills, learn how to delegate, learn how to communicate, become more self-aware. And something that I really love for managers to do is to ask people how they like to be managed. Not everybody likes to be managed the same way. They all have different personalities and communication styles and working styles. So just ask people, how would you like to work together?
I love that. Okay.
Simple but effective.
So talking about your book, we talked, I just want to give the list of people who could benefit from your book. So we have the bosses, we have people looking for jobs, we have people who just started jobs. Who else should be buying this book and where can they get it?
Oh gosh, it really is relevant for everybody. I highly recommend it though for new college grads. I think that they would really benefit from this book. If I had this book when I was 21 graduating college, I would have skipped a decade of pain and suffering. It will supercharge your career. It will tell you all the secrets that you need to know. All my best advice is in this book. I put so much work into it to make it as concise and specific as possible. So that is my number one recommendation. But honestly, for anybody looking to navigate the job market right now, it's a great book.
Very good. Okay, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Congrats on the release, and we appreciate the advice too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
All right, you too. You too. I'll never forget. She's recommending this for current college grads. I interviewed right out of college. I was 21 years old at a consulting firm. I majored in English and Spanish. I probably had no business. And the way they divided up the interview, they had like a personality interview, but then there was one that I remember, I don't know if it was called a stress interview or I just knew that that was what it was. But I remember the question was this, and I'll see what you would have said, but I flipped out under this.
Oh boy.
I basically short-circuited.
Your biggest weakness?
It wasn't biggest weakness. Although I've heard don't say, I just work too hard.
Yeah.
I put pressure on myself to be perfect. I'm a perfectionist. Don't say that. But the question was, if I was interviewing two people with the exact same skill set, let's say you had the exact same skill set as someone else, who should I hire?
Better personality.
I should have said that.
What'd you say?
I don't know what I said. I remember just I'm like, well, I just hummed and I couldn't. I remember saying something, and the interviewer responded back with, no, you have the exact same skill set as the other person, the exact same.
Yeah, because I
just
hire
couldn't.
someone, it's like they've got skills and then they've got personality. It's like the person and then the skills that they have.
Exactly. No, it's true.
They both are capable.
You go on personality and how they'd
the
fit in.
culture of the workplace. Are they going to be a hard worker? Are they nice people? Anthony.
Do you think I got the job?
Did you?
No.
Okay.
I did not get the gig. And I think I think it was to gauge, hey, how does this person think on their feet and all this? And
I think too,
Swing and a miss.
sometimes these questions are just ridiculous. Like, really, are you going to ask me if I was a shape, what I would be, or those silly questions of what's your worst and best quality? Like, come on. If I was a manager hiring someone, I would not ask those questions, especially because a lot of them are going to be scripted. The people are going to go through this list of like commonly asked questions. They can spout out their answer, and is it real? Probably
and now everyone's going to be punching it into their AI and saying, how should I answer this? And then memorizing a script.
100%, yeah.
Her book, by the way, does comment on the rise of AI in the job market as well.
That'll be interesting.
Because that's interesting territory.
Yeah.
Caitlin, I'm excited for you for this next segment because I'm unfamiliar with it, but you're like freaking out over here. Give us, you got to tee this up.
Okay. Hey Gabby, da-na-na-na-na, take me to the dollhouse. Da-na-na-na-na-na, hey Gabby, na-na-na, let's go for a ride. Da-na-na-na-na. Parents at home know exactly what I'm talking about. Gabby's Dollhouse, you guys. We are going to be talking to actual Gabby from Gabby's Dollhouse, because there's a new season that's coming out, and I am so excited about this. My family has been watching Gabby's Dollhouse for the past 6 years. Okay. My kids grew up on this show.
I'm so curious because it's your two oldest are girls. I'm a boy dad, so I don't know if it didn't just like cross the.
Probably not. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's a fabulous show.
Well,
darling.
I mean, royalty.
I'm so
joining
excited.
us.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
Layla
Lockhart Craner when we.
She's got a purple bedroom. So cute.
Okay, stay with us.
In my
that saved lives in Vietnam and courage that stands before us today. And Lord, we thank you for Staff Sergeant Michael Allis, who, in a final selfless act, made his own body a shield for a friend. Bless the family and friends of these great men of honor, O Lord, and forbid that we leave this place as mere admirers of their heroic deeds. Plant in our hearts a measure of their courage, that we might prove worthy of the freedom for which they and generations before them defended. And Lord, now let the light of liberty continue to shine on our great nation. We pray in the strong name of the one who guides us. This will defend. Amen.
Thank you very much, Chaplain Green. Wonderful job. Appreciate it. And thank everybody for being here, and please feel free to sit. So before we begin this important ceremony, and there's no ceremony that can be much more important than this, let me provide a brief update on Operation Epic Fury. Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime. Following our obliteration of Iran's nuclear program in Operation Midnight Hammer a short while ago, we warned Iran not to make any attempt to rebuild at a different location because they were unable to use the ones that we so powerfully blew up. But they ignored those warnings and refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons. In addition, the regime's conventional ballistic missile program was growing rapidly and dramatically, and this posed a very clear, colossal threat to America and our forces stationed overseas. The regime already had missiles capable of hitting Europe and our bases, both local and overseas, and would soon have had missiles capable of reaching our beautiful America. The purpose of this fast-growing missile program was to shield their nuclear weapon development and make it extraordinarily difficult for anyone to stop them from making these highly forbidden by us nuclear weapons. We were the ones that were complaining. We were the ones that wanted it stopped. But everybody was behind us. They just didn't have the courage to say so. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat to the Middle East, but also to the American people. Our country itself would be under threat, and it was very nearly under threat. I was very proud to have knocked out the Iran nuclear deal by President Barack Hussein Obama. That was a horrible, horrible, dangerous document. They would have had nuclear weapons 3 years ago, and they would have used them. But I'll not let that happen. For almost 47 years, this regime has been attacking the United States and killing Americans. Every time you see someone with missing arms and legs or a face that's been absolutely shattered violently, it was almost certainly caused by an Iran roadside bomb. They were put there by General Soleimani, who was the father of the roadside bomb. Very proudly, he thought, but I terminated him in my first term. This was our last best chance to strike what we're doing right now and eliminate the intolerable threats posed by this sick and sinister regime. And they are indeed sick and sinister. Our objectives are clear. First, we're destroying Iran's missile capabilities, and you see that happening on an hourly basis, and their capacity to produce brand new ones, and pretty good ones they make. Second, we're annihilating their Navy. We've knocked out already 10 ships. They're at the bottom of the sea. Third, we're ensuring that the world's #1 sponsor of terror can never obtain a nuclear weapon. Never going to have a nuclear weapon. I said that from the beginning. They're never going to have a nuclear weapon. They were on the road to getting one legitimately through a deal that was signed foolishly by our country. And finally, we're ensuring that the Iranian regime cannot continue to arm, fund, and direct terrorist armies outside of their borders. And we thought we had a deal, but then they backed out. And they came back, and we thought we had a deal, and they backed out. I said, you can't deal with these people. You've got to do it the right way. Today, we grieve for the 4 heroic American service members who have been killed in action and send our love and support to their families. In their memory, we continue this mission with ferocious, unyielding resolve to crush the threat this terrorist regime poses to the American people, and a threat indeed it is. We have the strongest and most powerful, by far, military in the world, and we will easily prevail. We're already substantially ahead of our time projections, but whatever the time is, it's okay. Whatever it takes, we will always, and we have right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that. We'll do it. Whatever somebody said today, they said, oh, well, if the president wants to do it really quickly. After that, he'll get bored. I don't get bored. There's nothing boring about this. Do you agree with that, Pete? I don't think there's anything, Mr. General. I think there's nothing boring about it. Somebody actually said from the media, I think he'll get bored after about a week or two. No, we don't get bored. I never get bored. If I got bored, I wouldn't be standing here right now. I guarantee you that, to go through what I had to go through. We also projected 4 weeks to terminate the military leadership, and as you know, that was done in about an hour, so we're ahead of schedule there by a lot. But please join me in thanking every American service member who bravely is standing in harm's way. They really are incredible, and I just want to thank you. We have a lot of them right here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We have a lot of great service members here with us, too, in this beautiful building. Isn't it beautiful? We're adding on to the building a little bit. We're improving the building. See that nice drape? When that comes down right now, you see a very, very deep hole. But in about a year and a half from now, you're going to see a very, very beautiful building. And there's your entrance to it right there. In fact, it looks so nice, I think I'll save money on the doors, because it can't get more beautiful than that. I picked those drapes in my first term. I always like gold, but I think we can save a lot of money. I just saved curtains, but and it'll be spectacular. It'll be the most beautiful ballroom. I believe it's because I built many a ballroom. I believe it's going to be the most beautiful ballroom anywhere in the world. And when you hear all that hammering out there, you know why the First Lady is not thrilled exactly. She said, will the pile drivers ever stop? You know, they go from 6 in the morning till 11:30 in the evening. Can you imagine? Here? You know what? To me, that's a beautiful sound. She doesn't like it. I love it. You know what? To me, other than here, because we're donating it, not a penny to the taxpayer. It'll be under budget, ahead of schedule. It'll be $400 million or less. Most people say $400 million or more. No, it'll be less. But when I hear that sound, that beautiful sound behind me, it means money, so I like it. But my wife isn't thrilled.
All right, you have been listening to President Trump. This is at a Medal of Honor ceremony at the White House, addressing reporters in the room 2 days after the U.S. and Israel launched a joint strike on Iran. The Supreme Leader is confirmed deceased. There have been 4 U.S. deaths, American deaths in recent days, 5 others injured, and we're going to have all the very latest developments in this ongoing situation coming up on our news at noon. That is going to do it for this hour of Chicago Now. We've got another hour of Chicago Now with Gabriella and Tia waiting in the wings here. We hope your Monday morning is off to a great start. It's a sunny one outside. We'll be right back with more after this.
All new Tuesdays on Fox.
Welcome to the second hour of Chicago Now, almost 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Tia Ewing.
I'm Gabriella Primus.
Yeah, how was your weekend?
It was good. You know what? It was super quiet. I was kind of a bachelorette this weekend.
How did that feel?
I was out of town. It was good. It was honestly kind of boring. I found myself missing him a lot.
Sometimes when I'm like...
It is nice, but now he's gone on business trips and stuff like that, and I'm like, you know what? I miss the companionship. I like having someone with me.
I understand that. I usually have a really hard time sleeping at night.
Oh, that makes sense. But see, like I'm in a building, so there's like security, but I'm locking the door, obviously. But it's pretty tight in there. That's why I can say that.
My weekend was interesting, to say the very least. Just a lot of events, a lot of things happening. My husband got an award, then I had to host an event, and by the time I looked up, we left our house at like 9 in the morning. It was 11 o'clock at night by the time we got home. So I was just like, I felt like I worked an extra day.
See, and I kind of had the total opposite because I just chilled. I really never get the opportunity to just like sit and watch TV.
To relax.
And guess what I did?
Yeah.
Just that.
Well, let's talk about what's coming up on the show. You can sit back and relax. A lot of people I ran into this weekend, believe it or not, were talking about the cheese Danish. Remember that? Yeah, I wanted to point that out. Some people that I ran into at one of the events was like, I saw that segment about the cheese Danish, then I went to the next event, and they said the same thing, and I'm like, oh, people are watching, this is cool.
Okay, awesome.
But they all said that they really enjoyed the cheese Danish. They went and bought it after seeing us eat it and try it on the show. All right, let's talk about...
We had some people just steal it right from under us.
I know, we only got a piece, literally a little corner per person. Okay, we're also going to be talking with some people about really your youth and mental health crisis, especially involving children. We will have an expert that's going to join our show to explain why leadership skills can really make a huge difference. And we're also getting details a little later on in the show. Maybe you know somebody that's looking for a job. This is really important because we have seen a lot of people lose their jobs in this economy. Lollapalooza and also Sueños, they're having a job fair this week, and you will be able to hear about all the amazing opportunities that are available to you, so you'll want to stick around for that.
Sometimes you want a little extra, right? A little bit of extra cash maybe in the summertime. Those are good opportunities. But first, we have someone sitting in this nice comfy brown chair right next to us.
Yes.
Paul Faravar, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Comedian, you obviously probably recognize his face because I know that I've seen some of your,
Okay.
I've seen some of your videos.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of your videos. And you know what? I'm the kind of person who is not like totally in the comedy scene. Like, there's some comics that I recognize, and I recognize.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good to hear.
That's good. It's
you know, it's sometimes you have to think back, and then when you start talking about job opportunities, I'm like, I could just work at Lollapalooza, not worry about comedy anymore.
I have questions for the person who's coming in for Lollapalooza because the weather's either going to be really, really nice
or really, really bad,
or it's going to be really, really bad.
Yeah, I used to go to Lollapalooza every year, and I had so much fun, but then I think they intentionally age you out at some point, and they're like, they have artists that none of us know when you get to over 40, and they're like...
Sometimes they'll sprinkle it in, though. Sometimes they'll sprinkle it in. Yeah, look, there honestly probably is not anyone over 30 that I see in those shots.
That's true.
And they're running.
When I went last time, I think I was called Dad 7 times. I'm not a dad.
No, Paul.
I'm not going back.
But in fairness, though, a lot of people that are older, you can't read how old they are because now, you know, there's a lot of people getting facelift. We had a doctor on the show talking about younger people getting facelifts, the Botox.
Yeah.
Some people you can't tell. I'm just curious what you think of this because I saw something trending over the weekend where this guy who is known for being on social media doing skits decided to do stand-up, completely bombed. And we have this like influx now of people thinking they can take their little funnies, you know, on social media to the stage. That's a hard turn.
It's a different, so I did improv before I did stand up. The great news about what we do as comics is you can't fake it.
Yeah.
I think even the people that they're TikTok comedians that get really famous, especially during the pandemic, but to be able to keep a room laughing for 45 minutes is something that you can't just cheat. There's no cheat code.
And I bet you could also say that, like a lot of the things that we're seeing on social media, like when they are successful, it's just a clip of what actually is going on with the whole set, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to maneuver it to make it look like you're crushing when you're not, especially on social media.
I'm curious, what does your shirt say under there?
It says Better Call Paul. These are the shirts I sell at my shows, where all the money goes to Parkinson's. So.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Now, what made you decide to do that?
My father was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and so what I did with the shirts is it gives me an opportunity to talk to other people who have been affected by it. So it's kind of selfish in a way, because anytime I say that I'm donating all the money to Parkinson's Foundation, people come up to me and they've been affected with it, or I've met so many people who have it, and it's kind of like I learn a lot from that too. So it's been an awesome journey.
That's awesome.
You know, we've had a couple comics come on and talk about kind of their journey, maybe with a nonprofit or something that they support. So, you know, and they have even said, like, sometimes it's hard to take them seriously because they are a comic. You know, you're a totally different person on stage. How do you like navigate that? I don't know. A lot of people who know me don't think that I did comedy, because I am kind of like dry and serious. My background before I did comedy, I was a lawyer for a while, so people think that that I can't be funny, and sometimes I also agree. So we'll I don't know about that.
What made you go from being a lawyer to being a comedian? What was it that you were like, I can see myself on that stage?
It was never on my radar. Never on my radar.
Wow.
I always thought I'd be a musician, and I would go into politics based on being a one-hit wonder. That was like my goal as a kid. But I just started watching. A friend of mine was doing comedy, and he was opening for Bob Saget. And I was backstage with Bob Saget. I made Bob Saget laugh. He thought I was a stand-up comedian. He's like, "Oh, are you doing that joke on stage?" And I was like, "No, I'm not the comedian. I'm just backstage here acting as the lawyer for my friend." And then he tried to get me to go do stand-up for the first time at a sold-out show at the Horseshoe Casino in Indiana. And I was like, I've never done comedy. But then the next day I did an open mic, and I won the contest. So I was like, oh, this is kind of what I should do.
And you've been doing it ever since?
I have, yeah. So it's Bob Saget's fault. I could have been rich as a lawyer, and now I'm here.
Right? That's still a heck of a story.
Now you're rich and famous as a comic.
No, I don't think that's accurate at all. But
well, you know, I want to make sure that we tell people though, because you can see Paul next week, and I love that you're actually coming in like at a correct time, because there's so many times where it's like the day before the event. And, you know, no one can get the ticket anymore. Are there still tickets available?
There are still tickets available. I am not sold out yet. Zany's on Thursday at Old Town. It's an awesome room. It's got a history of great comedy, and I'm hoping to sell it out. So.
In the world of hecklers, because that's become a big deal in comedy, a lot of people, they want to be the show now, even though they're coming to see you do your thing at the show. What is the craziest thing that's ever happened to you? Have you had any hecklers?
Yeah, I had a real heckler. So there's different types of hecklers. There's hecklers that don't know they're being rude, and they're trying to be a part of the show, but they don't know because that's what they've seen on social media, which is partially comedians' fault. But there's people that are just drunk, or people that are positive heckling, like they're just repeating what you say or answering questions that aren't supposed to be answered. So that happens, and you can usually weed that out. But I did have a real, I've had a few situations, but the funniest situation I had was Valentine's Day last year. I was on stage, and during my set, the woman was there with her friend, and her husband came with his mistress.
What?
To the show.
To the same show?
And she called him out during my set. And so...
How? What did she say?
She just got up. She goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, my husband is here with his mistress. She was supposed to be at our son's basketball game." And it turned into like the Jerry Springer show while I'm on stage trying to do jokes.
What did you do?
There was nothing to do. You know, they escorted them out. They let her stay, which was weird because I don't know. And I had to like move on. It was insane.
Wait, how do you move on from something like that? I'd be like, that
was a good part of the show, though. That was.
Well, the good news is I've had so many situations like that. A fight broke out at a show recently, and I just had to like. Recently, that happened. It's a clip on Instagram where
I've seen it.
People were fighting while I'm talking about sometimes you hear something when you're on stage and you don't know if it's something that was triggering to someone in the audience. Like I had a real heckler thought I was making fun of the president, which I wasn't. I was talking about turtles. And,
maybe they thought you said Trump, but
yeah, and so sometimes you have to just kind of feel it out. But then I remember when the fight broke out, I'm like, I was talking about Timu. Like, so no one could be offended. So it kind of worked to my favor because I was like, I guess some people have strong feelings about Timu. And then I was like, while they were kicking them out, I was just trying to like get the audience's attention. And I was like, hey guys, there was like an amplifier on stage for music. I'm like, I'm gonna eat this if you guys look at me. Just things like that. You have to be ready for it. But the Valentine's Day thing with the mistress, that's something, the other comedians were all just, when I got off stage, like, what could you do?
So she just got up and started screaming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I thought
wow.
the mic.
I'm gonna make it a clip.
You have to make that a clip.
Yeah, I know. It's just the sound wasn't great. Like that's another thing. We as comedians, we have to create all this content for social media, but you have to like sometimes what happens at the show doesn't translate well.
True.
Oh, 100%.
You have to like you have to explain it in there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this lady's yelling. What she's saying is her husband is here. So yeah, but that was an insane thing, and it just happened here.
Well, I guess the plus is they both liked your comedy. That's how they ended up at the show.
Well, I was the opener. It was my friend Brett Ernst was the headliner, and I was just featuring. But it was a sold-out show, and yeah, I had to deal with it. And when I got off stage, he was just like, "Yeah, there's nothing you could have done."
Crazy.
Paul, can we go back to you being a lawyer?
Please.
Like, were you in a law firm and you had to break to your colleagues like, hey, you know what, I'm going to comedy. What'd your family think? Like, it just seems like such a crazy twist of events.
My family's still in denial. I haven't practiced law in 6 years. What happened was I was a partner at a firm, and I approached my partner and I said, hey, he was older. I was like, well, maybe we can both kind of like, you know, just settle in and just slowly close off the firm. And he didn't want to do that. So we broke off in 2018 and I went on my own. And because I had clients, I couldn't just go right into it. So I wasn't taking any more clients. And then for 2 years, I just slowly started, you know, whittling down, settling the cases, and then on March 1st, 2020, I closed my firm.
Wow.
But then 2 weeks later, I was like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, it has to be
crazy.
What kind of law were you practicing?
I did litigation defense work, insurance defense mostly, which is what you do when you graduate, right? 203rd out of 204 students.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, right.
No,
but that probably gave you good experience though, being able to talk, because you have to, it's a lot of talking involved in that particular job.
When I first did improv at Second City, I was taking classes. The goal was to make me a better lawyer. And so I never thought comedy would be the thing that changed my life.
Okay, so now you're traveling around the country, right? Because I saw you in a few different cities. I mean, what's that like now, taking this full on, pandemic's over? How did you actually navigate the pandemic, just starting as kind of an official comic too?
Well, that was a lot of questions, Gab.
Sorry.
But I will answer them for you. No, I'm just kidding. That
was 3 in 1, by the way.
That was. I think I remember 2 of them.
Okay.
But during the pandemic, I had all these opportunities, and that's why I left. I was going to be a head writer on a show for the Cubs, and then I was on tour with a national touring act, and then I had a podcast that was accepted into South by Southwest. All of that went away with COVID, and so within months, the places that opened up, like in Oklahoma, Texas, and Florida, that didn't have a pandemic, I was like, I'm just gonna go. I have to work. And what I would do is I would go to those cities in 2020, do the shows, and then test like every Monday before I saw my elderly parents. So that's how I got through it, because I had to work. And then as far as now, just doing shows, it's great. Everything's, all we're doing as comedians is basically promoting our shows, doing morning shows or radio, and then hoping for the best.
What kind of, I know you said that when a fight broke out, people thought that you were talking about Trump. You weren't, you were staying away from politics. What kind of comedy would you say, as somebody that's watching right now, maybe they've never seen your comedy before, they can expect?
Yeah, so it's dry, and I like to say it's smart comedy.
Yeah.
I don't like do crazy act outs. I'm not doing characters. I'm telling stories about being a former lawyer. I'm talking about being a former musician. I'm talking about my own life, self-deprecating, being, you know, an aging bachelor, and talking about I've talked about my parents and having immigrant parents and stuff like that.
What is it like being a bachelor on the road these days?
Oh, wow.
Is it rewarding?
No, I'm older, so I'm not like looking for anything.
Yeah.
And I also have like no patience to like do things that I don't want to do. So people will invite you to like clubs that are really loud, and I just don't want to go.
Understood.
And so when I was younger, and I joke about it, I'm like, I do anything to like to meet girls. I'd be like, yeah, oh, I love house music, even though I don't.
Right.
And I would just go wherever. And now I'm just like, I can just get Taco Bell and go into my hotel room.
So we won't catch you at Tao nightclub down the street?
No,
No, you
I won't be
okay.
there. I used to be there. Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you originally from?
I grew up in Oak Brook, Illinois.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Did,
So
yeah.
you're
Awesome.
a
Tough
local
neighborhood.
guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Tough neighborhood.
We
You
had
have the
gangs.
ball and everything.
We had 2 gangs, J. Crew and I don't know, the other.
So it's probably pretty cool being back in Chicago.
Yeah, I love coming to sleep in my own bed. I've been home for a week now. For 2026, I was gone most of the year. I've slept in my own bed for 3 days before last week.
Wow.
What?
So yeah, it was crazy. That's not normal, but again, as I was telling Adina off stage, I hate the winters in Chicago.
Oh, so then you stay. Yeah, you stay out.
Yeah, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I understand.
Even today, it wasn't that cold, but I was like, why am I here? I was in Scottsdale, Arizona last week. It was 80 degrees.
Understood.
You know what?
100%.
I'd be there, right there with you. If I
with
could, honestly. Too bad I'm not funny or I'm not talented. No, for real. You mentioned you're musical too. Like
I
you're a
did
musician?
music. Yeah, I was in a lot of bands in Chicago, but I was asked to leave all of those bands. So.
No way.
Yeah, I was.
Really?
I wasn't
What do you
good.
play?
I played guitar and bass. I was really good at organizing bands and surrounding myself with talent, but then they would figure it out and be like, you should just be our manager. And then I get kicked out of the band, which is what I did. I managed bands for a while and did like legal for them and whatever, but I got to play in a lot of bands. I got to play in a lot of amazing venues like the Metro, Double Door when it was around, Shuba's, Lincoln Hall.
Do you have, like, in your mind, is there some goal that you feel like you want to, you know, get to for the year 2026? Or maybe beyond?
Yeah, I would like to, like, sell out rooms and be able to not worry about ticket sales. That's the biggest thing. I would love to. I'm producing a lot of new shows. I have a new show I created that I interview comedians in an elevator while it's going up and down, and people walk in and out, and celebrities too.
That's actually really creative.
Wait, that's cool.
Yeah, it's coming out soon. We are editing it right now. We're just working on the sound for the intro, and then the name of the show. We keep going back and forth.
Is that going to be on like a YouTube channel?
It's going to be on my YouTube channel,
Okay.
Paul F. Comedy. And yeah, it's just a fun. We've recorded a full season, and we got kicked out of the place that we were recording.
Where was it?
Did they know you were recording?
No, we didn't get permission, but
Where's that?
well, I know the law, and I figured, I said that it was better to ask for forgiveness. Sure. And so we did everything according to the HOA. But they created a law to make it illegal to film an elevator.
There's no way.
So they beat you at your own game. Okay, let me ask you this. Is there one name on there that you could tell us that you interviewed that people would be like, wow, this is going to be really something?
Oh, yeah. We had Sarah Spain from ESPN.
Oh,
She's
wow.
coming up.
Cool.
We had Kristen Toomey, Jim Flanagan, Calvin Evans, Abby Sanchez, all the Chicago greats.
How long are these interviews on an elevator?
So we recorded them with the intent of having 20 to 25 minutes per episode, but some of them went long, and so crazy things happen. Oh, yeah, Just Niche was on there as well.
From
Okay.
Chicago. So did people get on and like, okay, what am I walking into?
So that was the goal when I created the show, was to just see what happens. Sometimes when we did it, we had a test run we were doing before, and people would recognize the guests. Like, we had Cubs players, and sometimes they would just interrupt and take pictures, or sometimes they would chime in with their own answers to the questions, and that was part of the fun. So it's just kind of like a man on the street type of thing, but it just like on steroids.
That sounds like something that could
such
be
a
picked
good
up
idea.
by, like,
100%.
if you wanted it to.
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, the goal would be, I've created all these interview shows. I have a podcast called Why Are You Awake, where I talk to people who are night owls. I had a podcast for years. Yeah, called Singles Only. I had a dating podcast for years. So I would love to have a show where I'm interviewing people, because I love doing that. It's so hard for me not to ask you guys.
Go ahead, ask us something. We got a little time.
While we're
Go ahead.
doing this.
Ask us a few questions. You got time.
Because night owls,
I'm
like,
serious.
actually, no, but for real, like, night owls kind of really confuse me, because I wake up so early, you know.
I'm a night owl.
You're a night owl? Really?
What's a night owl for you?
Well, I typically will go to bed anywhere between 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that's a nice.
Are you for real, Tia?
Yes, that is like my
You're
thing.
just learning this, Gabby?
Yeah. I wake up at 2 o'clock. What?
Really?
Yeah. I go to bed at like 1 or 2. See, that's
a good
a real
portion of
night
my
owl
night.
for me.
Yeah.
My brother's also a night owl, and like, yeah, we'll be up until like 2, 3 in the morning. I'm like, how? Like, just on accident.
I'm
like,
doing
what?
stuff for everybody else. That's my only
true.
time.
That's true.
It's the best. You get so much done. It's
my only time.
It's the
You're a
only
night
time.
owl too?
I'm such a big night owl that, like, well, now I've leaned into it more. Ever since COVID, I go to bed even later, like 5 sometimes.
Are you for real, Paul?
I'm for real. In fact, for this,
Later. You
I
mean
was actually
early?
going to stay up to just be like, oh, I might as well just stay up at this point, but I didn't.
Wait, so what are you guys doing? Are you guys
for
watching
me,
TV?
I'm usually watching TV and writing.
Like scrolling?
I've been writing my book.
Oh yeah.
I'm editing clips. I'm writing. I'm scheduling emails on Gmail. You can schedule emails. So like when normal people wake up at
They'll
like
get 'em.
9, they'll get it. And then when I
Okay.
wake up at like 11:30, that's being nice. I'll have like
The
everything.
answer
The day's
is-
already
yeah.
started. You don't have to wait.
You guys can send me a good morning text if you want to.
Okay, you got it.
Anytime. You
Yeah.
know, just let me know someone's thinking
I
of me
get
or
so
something.
much
I don't
done.
know.
Honestly, if court wasn't at 9 a.m., I'd probably still be a lawyer. That was like the
Really?
biggest
You
thing.
could fit it into your
I
day.
remember I interviewed for a job where they had mandatory 8 a.m. mornings on Wednesdays.
You were
and I was
like,
like,
no.
too bad I can't take that job. Like,
not
I've
gonna
always been like that.
You know what? I bet that would help you in the winter time in Chicago. Like, I bet it's like pretty easy
What,
to
waking
do.
up?
Like waking up later, or I don't know.
Well, in my case, I'm still waking up at the same time.
Yeah, you're crazy.
You know,
Take
I don't get
naps
to.
then, or what do you do?
No, I mean, so if I stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning, I still got to get up at
Is
like
Early
7
staying
a.m.
up with you?
No, it's the only time I have to myself
See,
where nobody is asking me for something. Nobody is like, it's my time to do what I want to do.
It's so much done.
But even when I'm not working the shift, I'm still like 9 o'clock seems late to me. 9 o'clock seems so late.
Everything good happens after midnight. That's my
So
theory.
true.
There's so many cool things. Like I've
Not
seen,
what my dad would say.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Our parents would say not.
That's what the whole podcast is. You know, I took a couple months off because I was traveling so much, but we have like 70 episodes of that podcast where everyone tells their stories of why they're a night owl.
I love that.
Sometimes it's comedy creates it. You know, some people were morning people, but then when you do comedy, you have no choice.
Right.
So I'm working. My 7 p.m. show is like your 9 a.m. day. And so after shows, you do a show, especially if you're an artist or a creative, you're so wired after
You're up.
your set. There's nothing you can do.
That's true.
Yeah. All that adrenaline.
That's true, especially
So
people
you're
with a
up.
night shift here. I could totally see that. Okay, thank you for opening up my eyes. If people want to catch that content, are you posting the
Yeah.
videos also on YouTube as well?
Yeah, it's on Paul F. Comedy is my YouTube page where they can see the whole Why Are You Awake is the name of the podcast, or on Instagram, Paul Faravar is. There's clips of them with all the comedians like giving their insight on being a
I gotta watch that one.
Yeah. Okay. Again, Paul is going to be at Zany's
Next week.
Next week.
Go get
so
your
you have plenty of
tickets.
time to get your tickets and bring your friends, right? I mean,
Bring
this
all
is,
your friends.
Everybody.
Bring 72 of your friends.
yeah, perfect. I love it.
All right.
I only have 2.
Thank you for coming on. You were very fun to talk to.
Oh, thanks. Have me back
Absolutely.
again. I'll come.
All right, we will.
talk
Maybe you
about
could do a segment with
the
us. or
war. Yeah.
Okay. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.
30 minutes or less. Call now.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. Paul was awesome, huh?
He was so much fun.
You know, it's cool. Like, every comedian's a little bit different, especially because, you know, you kind of expect one person because you see what they're doing on stage. And so when they actually come in and they're cool to talk to and they have an interesting background and story, it makes it even more interesting. We had one that just took off his shirt, and that was pretty much his story. All right. Let's talk about some trenders.
Let's talk about it.
First is Gen Z. Gen Z always kind of getting a bad rap, but this is actually, I think, okay. So Gen Z is taking over restaurant loyalty programs. Do you have any like loyalty programs that you like are just?
The only one I can think of is the Starbucks loyalty program.
Yeah, because it's nice and easy.
It was easier to attain, you know, your reward. It's gotten harder, but other than that,
how's it gotten harder?
Because you have to accrue more points. I think it takes more dollars to accrue more points now. I forgot. They changed up the system, so I may be a little off with the
Do I ever
how
use
it
my
works.
points?
Do you?
No.
So how many do you have just sitting there?
I probably have 1,000 plus.
Are you serious? So you just keep buying
Probably
drinks?
for years, yes. I know, it's actually an issue.
That's like 5, if you have 1,000 points sitting there, that's 5 drinks. Free.
Per.
So
we'd be caffeinated the rest of the week. I like that.
Okay.
All right, anyway, so Gen Z taking over restaurant loyalty programs and forcing brands to adapt their orders. So chains that embrace the generational trend are already seeing a payoff. For example, Taco Bell. Loyalty members climbed 31% last year.
I didn't even know like they had a loyalty program.
I didn't either.
So what? Every time you go, you spend so much money. After a while, you get something free. Is usually how it
I'm
works.
assuming that
Technically, it's not
essentially
free, but
every place that we see, like every kind of fast food chain, probably has a loyalty program, unless it's like super classy. And it's all 7% same-store sales growth in the fourth quarter, just for Taco Bell alone. All right, also, according to data from loyalty program software, 1 in 4 customers say they would switch to a less preferred restaurant for better loyalty perks.
I could believe that because we do have some coworkers of ours who are producers here who signed up for the McDonald's loyalty program.
Yeah.
And they used it religiously. So I could see that. And plus, I guess in this era, no matter what your age is, you do want some benefit for spending your money. So I understand that.
Because you're spending a lot of it.
Yeah, you're spending a lot of money, so you want the benefit.
You know, I will say people give, and none of this is sponsored, obviously, but a lot of people give Whole Foods a bad rap because they're like, oh, it's so expensive. Honestly, it's kind of in par with some of these other big brand grocery stores.
Yeah, that's true.
And they have a lot of things that are on sale. You just hook up your Amazon account and like you get pretty low prices. Like I'm never really leaving with more than $300.
I never knew that.
And that's like a huge haul. Anyways, just in case you're wondering.
Very interesting. Okay, let me ask you this question. When you turned 16, did you get your license right away? Or did you procrastinate? Did you wait?
Right away, baby.
Me too. And
I'm like the youngest in my class though.
I wasn't the youngest in my class, but I mean, it was like serious, like trying to sign up early to make sure you got your license because so many people wanted them. But now to read this, I'm like, what is going on? Are we? I think I know what's going on, and we'll get to it. So fewer teens are getting their driver's license at 16, with only about 1/4 of 16-year-olds behind the wheel today, and that's according to a Business Insider report. I think the reason why they're doing this is, and I'm gonna get to why they say, but my belief is, I think a lot of parents drive their kids everywhere. I see that a lot, and so there's no urgency to get their license. Not to mention insurance rates are through the roof. To buy a car is through the roof. So if you have all those other factors, maybe your parents can afford to buy you a car. I could see why you wouldn't be in a rush. Why? I mean, I can't get a car anyway, so I just have this license. Well, this is what they're saying. Data on Gen Z shows cost, fear, and low interest are leaving parents to handle most of the carpooling. See?
So yeah,
experts say this trend reflects. Yeah, they're riding around with parents and such, so they're not in a rush. Experts say this trend reflects broader generational shifts. Rideshare services too.
Yeah, that's true.
See more teens relying on apps and their parents to get around. I was like, man, I gotta have some freedom.
Oh, I need
my license right away.
No, I loved having my license.
And getting a car was an issue. So what I did was I came in, and this is a good time for you maybe to get your notepad, kids, if you watch this later and become an entrepreneur. What I did was in high school, I would charge people to ride in my car.
Whoa.
So then that way that would help supplement some of my insurance. Now, I didn't do it a long time, but because I couldn't keep, it wasn't sustainable long term, but it was just something to like get started.
Yeah, you were the OG rideshare.
I was OG rideshare. I hope my insurance coverage covered the people in my car. I don't know.
Who knows?
But yeah, I
That's
was OG right here.
You know, I'm going to say something maybe, I don't mean it to say like every kid nowadays is like this, but I think that a lot of parents maybe don't trust their kids to have enough street sense to start driving,
yeah.
Especially in a city like Chicago, even if it's in the suburbs and such, because, you know, it is complicated. There's a lot of cars out there.
True. And a lot of crazy drivers, too.
Yeah, and again, you know, we've talked about how there's not a lot of, I don't know, emotional intelligence now. It seems like, at least this is like the overview. I don't have any of these people in my life. Because they're, you know, always on their phones. They're not really truly realizing how aggressive some of these drivers are. You know, they're just sitting in the passenger seat, not really thinking.
I'm curious. So if you don't get your license at 16, maybe you wait till you're in your maybe you wait till you're 21 or even older. What's the process then? Do you still you have to take the driver's test? I'm guessing behind the wheel. Right? You'd have to, because when I did it, you didn't have to take the behind the wheel test as long as you went to driver's education. You just had to take, I believe it was the written test, and that was it. You you got your permit, and then you got your license. So I'm curious what happens. Like, does it now mean you have so many additional hurdles to get your license? I think it does. I think it means that you have to take the written test behind the wheel. I think you have to do all of those extra steps now, which I avoided because I went to driver's ed. I didn't have to take
you know what? Driver's ed was probably the best thing for me.
It was.
A lot of my friends,
I'll never forget my driver's ed teacher.
Oh, actually,
man, he used to scream.
Oh, he was angry.
Well, I kind of used to go fast, and he'd be like, Ewing, slow it down. Because, you know, I wanted to put the pedal to the metal.
You're like, let's get this done.
I had a good time in driver's ed.
No, you know what? I had just a really nice, wholesome guy, I remember. Yeah. He's stopped to the side and said, hey, you know, you forgot to put on your blinker a couple times, but I'm going to pass you still. But there was one hill that we had to go down, and he told the whole class, he said, if you go even 1 mile per hour over the speed limit, I'm failing you. We're like, I don't know, he was really aggressive. He was a really nice guy, except for the hill. He didn't play around with the hill. We all passed.
You got your license.
We all passed.
First day I had my license, I know they wrapped us, so I'll tell the story and go. First day I had my license, I went through a light that was turning red. It was not red yet, officer, but I got pulled over by a Chicago police officer. First day, had my license, 30 minutes.
And your mom was probably so happy.
She was in the car with me.
Oh, she was.
And the officer said, it's okay. You just got to learn to slow down, kid, and let me go.
Oh, see, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, I was scared to death, though. I
have another driving story for you, but I'll probably keep it for the end of the show when we have more trending topics.
Okay, let's do it.
It was not a good look for me. All right, we'll be right back after this break. Fox Local.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. The youth mental health crisis isn't going away, but there are things you can do to help improve your child's mental health and make a difference in their life. We want to bring into the conversation a youth leadership specialist, J. Chad Michael. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, I can't hear them.
You can't hear us. We hear you. You don't.
Let's see, one moment.
One moment. Let's see.
We'll get
Can you hear us now?
There.
I can hear you guys now.
We got the
Good morning.
thumbs up.
We have youth leadership specialist J. Chad Michael with us. Good morning to you. Let's start out with this. You know, youth, they have a lot of pressure these days, and it can really take a toll on their mental health. What is something that parents should be doing to make sure that kids don't spiral into having a mental health crisis?
That's a great question. So one thing I recommend is not trying to control so much, but inviting the kids into decision making, right? When kids feel like they have control over the outcomes, then they actually rise in hope and their anxiety goes lower. And this can be really easy. It can be red shirt, blue shirt. What should we have for dinner? What should we have for lunch? So simple decisions help them feel that power they have over how their life turns out.
So even it's that simple, because honestly, it's sometimes terrifying thinking of being a parent, right? Because you want your kid to turn out the best way possible. You want them to have a nice, enjoyable life. And part of it is hearing about these mental health issues that a lot of kids are having. So having kind of that place in the household, you're saying, even if it's, one parent doing a little bit more, can really help them in the long run.
I think it can. I have 6 kids, and one of the things that I've seen recently, that I've worked on that makes a huge difference is empathetic listening, right? So often I feel like I'm giving my kids my plan, but what they want is my presence. They want me to help them feel like they can control this. You got this. Let's talk about your plan. I'm here to listen to you. What's your next right move? And so really empowering them to make decisions and see that mistakes are okay makes a huge difference. It lowers the anxiety and it ups the hope. And that's a fabulous thing for our youth. They need hope.
What do you say to a parent that maybe their child doesn't really know what direction they want to go into? Maybe they don't really have those leadership skills, and the parent then feels pressure to kind of put them in the right direction because the skill set isn't there. What should a parent do in that situation?
Wow, that's a great question. I think we need to shift our mindset about leadership. What I talk about in my book is it's small acts, right? These kids have so much power with their peers, and we shouldn't fight that. We should empower that and embrace that. So ask your son or daughter, hey, what right decision did you make today? And if they sat with a friend who other people don't sit with at lunch, celebrate that, reward that. If they said something kind to somebody in the hall and they smiled at them, that's huge. I tell the story in the book about my daughter having a horrific day, and her friend came up, said her name, gave her a hug, and it changed everything for my daughter. And guess what? Her friend doesn't even remember doing that. But those little things are so impactful. And guess what? All of our kids can do that. We just need to cheerlead them as parents and not try and control so much, but be more of coaches and less controlling, less these snowplow parents that we hear about.
Oh, and I could see how it could be so hard, especially with 6 children. You want to guide them into the right direction, and make sure they're doing the right things, keep them all in order. I want to bring back up the cover of your book. Like you said, it's called Change Your Game, Empowering Young Leaders to Ditch Doubt, Find Their Voice, and Impact the World, which is such a strong title, I think. You mentioned how you put in there the story with your daughter. Is there anything else kind of that the book follows that people can expect if they do end up grabbing it?
You bet. I go back to the question that you asked me earlier. What if my kid is kind of quiet? Or what if my kid isn't interested in leadership? That's okay, because I think the world thinks about leadership in a way that's not as relevant today. What this book does is it's a coach on a journey to figure out where you can be a leader, because we know these kids have influence with their peers. Help them figure out how they can use that to influence their peers for good. And it really talks about small steps. It asks questions about what they think is important, what they think is meaningful to them, how they want to show up for their friends, how they want their friends to show up for them. And then as they think about that, and parents talk about this at the dinner table, ask questions as opposed to giving plans and solutions, that you'll see the anxiety level of our kids will go down, and they will be more resilient and more hopeful because they feel like they can actually impact the world that they're living in. As crazy as it is today, inviting them in to make choices will empower them to do positive things in the world.
What do you say to parents that may feel frustrated in the process because maybe their kids don't have, you know, the skills that maybe they had growing up, and they feel like, well, you should be in a better place than you are right now? What do you say to parents that, you know, maybe pump the brakes and try to figure it out with their kids instead of being almost like, you know,
a dictator
in that relationship with the child?
Yeah, join the club, right? We've all been there, including me, where we have these high expectations for our kids. And guess what? They're kids, right? They're kids trying to figure it out. And so I think the principles I talk about in the book and we explore in the book, parents, we need to model those. And one thing is listening and being patient. Great leaders do that. It's one of the undervalued superpowers of a leader. And so I think as we talk about, hey, I want my kid to be more like this, or I want him or her to explore this, well, what example are we setting? Are we being patient with them? Are we listening? Are we trying to force them and be dictators, like you said? Or are we more like coaches? And I draw this analogy, cross-country coaches, right? You get a couple chances during the race to cheer your kids on. The rest of the race, they're pretty much on their own. I think we need to step back, have more confidence in our kids, cheer them on through mistakes, through the highs, through the lows, and watch them grow. It's not going to happen overnight, but I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it with my kids, with the kids I coach, with the kids I teach. When we empower them, they always rise to the level, and it is awesome to see. It may take some time, but be patient, parents. You got time. I can tell you, 6 kids, the oldest one's 35. You got time. They're not going anywhere.
I love it. You know, I guess another thing that comes up with leadership skills, and you said with coaching, are we still like encouraging our kids to be in as much as possible, like as many sports? Because obviously you can get some leadership skills potentially from being in a sport or being in band or, you know, in theater, whatever it might be, clubs. You know, is that still one of the best ways that kids can gain those leadership skills?
I think absolutely, right? There are a bunch of different places we can allow our kids the opportunity to lead. At home, that's great. At school, clubs, teams, all those things. Because really what leadership is, it's about relationships, right? And so we need to get off our phones, out of the basement, watching, well, I guess they're not watching, they're playing video games, right? And find these ways to interact with other youth. I see it all the time. When we get these kids together off their phones, they have a great time. They thrive, and they have a memory to something that they've been missing, which is having these great one-on-one, face-to-face, interpersonal experiences with their peers. And so I think anything we can do to get them out of the house, interacting with other kids in a positive way, is an awesome opportunity for them to both lead and be led by their peers.
Can you tell people where they can find your book?
You bet. It's on Amazon, and if you Google it, there's all kinds of other venues to purchase it. Just Amazon seems to be the one that most people flock to. But I really love the message that my book tries to portray, which is our young people have so much power and influence over their peers. Let's take that and channel it in a way that will change the world for good.
All right, J. Chad Michael, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on your book. Congratulations on the 6 children.
That's a lot.
You
That's
gave
a job.
a lot of great advice that honestly, you know, as one day maybe look down the road to have children, or, you know, as a mom yourself, like you need to hear some of these things.
Not 6, but yeah.
Yeah, you need to hear some of these things, right?
Yeah, well, not 6, and kudos to my wife, right?
Yeah.
She's the champion when it comes to our 6 kids. I love her and I love being with our kids, but I can't stand idly by and say, yeah, I have 6 kids without kudos to my wife. She's awesome.
That's sweet.
I love that.
Oh, thank you for joining us. And yeah, definitely everyone go grab that book.
Thanks.
All right, nice to meet you. Thank you. Stay with us. We're going to talk about something that maybe, you know, during the summertime, a lot of people take a trip over to Great Wolf Lodge. Wait till you hear what they're cooking up. Some people say it's gross. We'll have much more about it right after this break. Welcome back to Chicago Now. Listen, I don't know what to think about Gabby now, because we were talking about this in the break, and it gave me a whole different perspective on her, because she thinks she would want to try this. So Great Wolf Lodge Ranch milkshake is going to be available starting March 20th. And what's crazy about this is people haven't even tried it, and they're like, absolutely not. And let me tell you why. It's a blend of vanilla ice cream and ranch dressing. It's topped with a lime rim along with carrots, celery, whipped cream, and crispy chicken. I don't think I would want to taste this, and it's $3.10. I see why. I mean, that's disgusting. But here's what I'm saying. This is the only way I think this would work, is if it almost has the consistency of mashed potatoes, and the milkshake is kind of like on the blander side, like it's less milkshake consistency than ranch.
It's more of a cream.
I think it could be good, like if it's a cream base.
Like a cream base. Here's the thing.
It could be good.
Tia,
that's the only way.
You do not get between me and my ranch. You don't.
I love ranch dressing too, but not this.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I read it, I was like, "That sounds bleep disgusting." Right?
We got to do a segment. Go down there and try it. That's what we're gonna do. We'll go down there together.
Well, they're essentially giving it out for free because they know that it's a reach.
We're gonna go try it. Okay, so listen,
$3.10.
We got to talk about what people are saying, because this is a drink. That's the part that's throwing me off. So
I would
the
try
crispy
it for sure.
chicken, like kind of like leaning in the cup, and you can dip it in the sauce and taste it.
To me, it has to essentially be crispy chicken with a little bit of it.
Is it in a cup? That's what I got to figure out. And it sounds like it is.
And the texture's going to make or break it.
Oh, my mouth is where I'm like, I'm
if it's like Greek yogurt texture,
I can't talk about it. I have a weak stomach. But listen, this is what people are saying. I hope the responsible people are locked up, okay? This makes me want to throw up right now. This is what it looks like.
Oh.
So it's not a huge chunk of chicken.
No, you know what? That actually
I don't know now.
You know, they at least could have.
We gotta go try it.
To dye the salt on the rim, like the lime stuff, right?
It's a lime rim, right?
No, that's actually crazy.
Carrots are in there.
Now that I'm saying
I see the carrot.
We
gotta go try it. It may not be as bad as we think.
Horrible.
Well, but here's the thing. Maybe the ranch is like, it's only like 10% ranch. Then that way it would actually be pretty tasty, because the vanilla would take over. So I think we got to try it before we knock.
Yeah, because if it had like a thing of chips next to it, because then it could be like sour cream and onion dip, right? You know, like where it's very creamy and has.
I'm reading the comments. This can taste good. Dear God, it's really made with ice cream. I assumed it was, like me, mashed potatoes or something. That's what one person said. Then another person said that this is an example of why America was struggling with obesity.
Yeah.
But you haven't tried it. Okay, I'll tell you this. It turns my stomach to hear what it's all is in it, but I would like to try it.
I think that we should definitely try it because, you know, we'd be doing the audience a disservice if we didn't.
If we don't try it.
Honestly,
we gotta try it.
It is going to be pretty far. Great Wolf Lodge is not.
Maybe they'll
close.
ship it to us.
Maybe they will. Well, then we're going to get it like
maybe. Well, they have
mid-war.
refrigerated devices and stuff. They can figure this out.
Yeah, I want you to take a refrigerated truck with just one single one of these.
Wait, is that a pickle?
Studio.
On top of the carrot? What's that on top of the carrot?
Okay, so I was
like,
listening to it or reading it, I was like, okay, this actually could work. Seeing the picture, it actually made things worse for me.
I want to try it. They're back there discussing it. You know what I don't want to try? I don't want to try a facelift because then you'll be in discussions like this.
This is so scary. So people are torn over Jim Carrey. Have you seen this?
I have.
New face after his recent appearance at the Caesar Awards. So he also gave this speech at the Caesar Awards entirely in French, which is a little weird. So a lot of people are immediately suspicious that Jim Carrey, because he looked a little too uncanny valley of sorts, that it's not actually him.
A lot of people think he's been unalived and like this is a new person that has now assumed his identity. It does not look like Jim Carrey. And I don't even believe, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I went down a deep dive on this weekend.
It looks like Bruce Jenner.
I went on a deep dive on this. I went on a deep dive on this weekend. Like I told you, I'm a night owl, and I was looking at all the videos of Jim Carrey more recently, and then this face. I do not believe, even the voice is different. I don't believe this is Jim Carrey. What happened to Jim Carrey, I don't know. But it's almost like he's taunting, too, because he posted a picture on his Facebook page that really I thought was kind of cryptic. I think it was a song with it or something. So I don't know. And, you know, he's been very vocal about things that are in Hollywood that shouldn't be happening and don't make sense. And it made me think, like, did something happen to him and this new person has assumed his life? I don't believe it's Jim Carrey. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't believe in all these like weird things that people say are going on. What's the word for it? You know what I'm trying to say.
Conspiracy?
Conspiracy theories. I don't believe in it, but I do not believe this is Jim Carrey.
So what about the one with Selena Gomez? Because they also think that she's dead, but also
yes,
someone's impersonating her. You think for sure?
I can see it.
And then they go as deep as to say that Kourtney Kardashian's son is Selena and Justin Bieber's kid.
Listen, I don't know about that.
Hold on. Wait, I gotta make something clear. This is not us saying this, all right? This is the people
stuff online.
Okay, this is just stuff online.
People think it was actually, so here's the twist, and I saw this online too. People think that face, that person was actually a makeup artist known as Alexis Stone, who went to the event as Jim Carrey. So Stone has impersonated celebrities like this before. But here's my question. So Jim Carrey would have allowed it to happen? Now, if you see Alexis Stone's face, the structure of the face, I could believe that is, and then Alexis Stone also does these prosthetics over the face. I mean, I don't know. That's not Jim Carrey. That's all I know.
Well, and here's the thing about Jim Carrey that I feel like he's somewhat a little like Will Ferrell. Well, he doesn't really care about his appearance and stuff. At least that's what I've kind of gathered.
Right. So then go and do something.
So then why would he go and get a facelift? Like that guy is probably, I don't know him. Probably the last to care, though, about what he looks like.
Here's my question. Aging. Can that Jim Carrey do Fire Marshal Bill? If that Jim Carrey can't do Fire Marshal Bill, that's not Jim Carrey. And I want to see it. I want to see it in action. If that Jim Carrey right there cannot pull off Fire Marshal Bill, that is not Jim Carrey. And that's what I was hoping when he came out and the paparazzi was there. I was like, come on, guys. Just ask him to do Fire Marshal Bill. And nobody did it. And I was so disappointed.
So sure on every single video that you see, make sure that you're asking them to say, like, hey,
Bill,
do it. Let me tell you my story about when I first. No.
Okay.
And I'm not going to try.
Okay. Go ahead. We got 2 minutes.
My story about when I first started driving.
Okay.
So
let's
you
hear
said that 30 minutes into you.
CPD pulled me over.
But gave you off because you
let me
showed
go.
that little smile.
Yeah,
and you're all
I was
good.
a cute little baby.
I didn't have a car, so I was driving my mom's car. We had a tiny little garage. I mean, it was hard to get out of. And I convinced my mom, let me drive my friend home. And she's like, oh, no, you know, fighting, but she didn't want to say much. She didn't want a whole fight in front of the friend.
How this is gonna go.
Yeah, I got into the car, backed out.
Hit the garage.
Hit the garage. Whole side. It wasn't like a cute little scrape either. It was the entire 2 doors.
So what happened? How much did that cost?
She beat my...
Bleep!
Yeah, she was not happy. She was not happy.
Was that the last time you got a spanking?
Yeah, and that's what...
I mean, by your mom.
And with that,
we're done for the day. Thank you so much for watching Chicago Now.
Whoa.
We will see. I was talking about by your mom.
You need
We'll see you tomorrow.
A friendly show.
I was being serious.
Until it's not. Oh, Tia.
Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone. Sorry about that.